The woman I'm about to introduce you to is someone who I call the legend. I was very blessed to get a corporate position many years ago, and I worked directly for my soror, Tashonda Duckett. Shout out to her for making history of being one of the very few African-American female CEOs in the Fortune 500. But in working in that position, I was introduced to this woman, and she was leading a major program, not only helping members of my sorority, Delta Sigma Theta, become homeowners, but really helping them position real estate as the foundation for building wealth. So when I got the job, everybody who knows me knows I don't sleep and I'm overzealous and I do everything all the time. So I flew to North Carolina to meet with her so that we could develop a plan for how we were going to take this program. I think we did 3 million, or they did 3 million before I got there. We did 36 million in my first 9 months. Well, let me tell you, this is how we did it. I went and we agreed on who was going to do what. She had her responsibilities, I had mine. I went home and did her job and mine. I said, you are the legend, I'm the youngin', I'm gonna do the work, and you just tell me what to do and we're gonna do it. And from there, a beautiful sisterhood was born, but more importantly, a friendship and a model. This woman served as a mentor for me. She showed me what wealth looks like. And what she showed me about wealth was just because you have money don't mean you're supposed to spend it. She is the reason why in my household, school is free. If you get A's, you go to school for free. If you get C's, you go into the free school. It's all because of this woman. And her children have degrees from Stanford and Emory and so on and so forth, as well as they have taken their time and gotten the portion of their education at HBCUs, but she did it all smart. And what she's gonna talk to us today is just about a few smart things that we should all know. So without further ado, I would like to welcome my soror, mentor, big sister, and friend, Lori Jones Gibbs. Welcome, Miss Lori, the legend. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Well, thank you, Lynn. What a beautiful introduction. It has been my honor to be in your space for at least over 25 years now. When we met, I was like, I need somebody, I have this idea. And Lynn said, well, tell me about it. And I had a napkin and I wrote it on a napkin. And I said, but it's real simple, because all we need to do is do this initiative just like our sorority is set up. We need a national, we need state, we need regionals, and then we need chapters. And as she said, to tell you the total truth, we both did have assignments. But all who know Lynn know she's like the ever-ready bunny. She never stops. She calls me the next morning at 9 o'clock, sending me an email saying, I think I did our work. I said, wait a minute, how you do our work? Because I didn't start mine. She said, but I did it. I'm going to send it to you. If you don't like what I did, let me know. And the rest is history.
You had responsibilities, I had responsibilities. And I was like, well, I finished my job, so let me just do her job too. She don't need to do all this work. You are the legend, I'm the youngin'. And it's such a pleasure to introduce you to this audience, because we need to know and understand about building wealth. I think we have the impression that we don't have it, but you are living proof that you can start from really zero and build an empire and a financial plan for your family. So why don't we get started with this question, Lori? Why do you say credit is like family? Why do you say credit is like family? And you know, when you talk about this, it makes me laugh in so many ways, but tell us that.
I say, well, credit is like family because all of us know, and sometimes we're the person in the family we shouldn't loan money to. But in order to make people understand the simplicity of credit, I think credit is like family. CRA is a credit reporting agency in the finance world. But in our world, you have Big Mama, who's CRA. She gave birth to 3 daughters, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And they gave birth to any financial institution in America, from PNC, Wells Fargo, the Bank of America. The difference is, I've tried to explain to family members and friends, is that when we borrow from each other, you know, Lynn, you call them Pookie and Kiki. So, you know, Pookie borrowed some money from his sister Kiki. Well, Kiki knew he had no intentions on paying her back. See, in his mind, Kiki had it. So in his mind, it was a gift, even though Kiki thought it was a loan. So what happens? A month go by, he doesn't pay her. 2 months goes by, she calls him. God, look what happened. We got caller ID. He doesn't answer. But what happened in our community? We get together during holidays. So what happens? Pookie get to the family reunion before Kiki. He runs over to Big Mama. And he said, Big Mama, I'm fell on hard times and my sister helped me. but I need you to help her understand. I'm going to pay her when I get the money back. So what happens? Kiki comes in and Big Mama summons her back to her room and she grabs her hands and she said, baby, your brother told me how blessed you've been to him. To whom much is given, much is required. So now what happens? She can't say a thing because Big Mama has neutralized her. Now that may happen in the family, but now let's bring it to the world of finance. CRA Big Mama is a credit reporting agency. She had those 3 daughters. Okay, those 3 daughters, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, they birthed any financial institution in the country because they all report up to either their mothers, to ultimately Big Mama. So what happens now when Pookie decides to borrow money from Bank of America and don't pay Bank of America back? He tells his mama Experian, she tells her 2 sisters, TransUnion and Equifax. And before you know it, Big Mama wants to know what's going on. So she calls a meeting. She said, bring all my grandchildren here. And she said, if that boy, Pookie, come to any of y'all, he didn't pay your cousin, so don't give him a dime. So I have often said to people, banks don't discriminate. You set a record. If you don't pay, the key to credit is paying it back. The key word is you agree to borrow money that you can repay. If you don't repay it, it's reported to the 3 sisters. The 3 sisters ultimately reported to their mama. So you start creating a record of where either people will loan to you, banks will loan to you, or they won't loan to you. It is all on how you manage your credit. And credit, I always tell Lynn, poor person, I need credit. Because when you're not wealthy, you need to be able to leverage other people's money to help you create wealth.
That's
My
right.
first was at 23 years old. 23. Sold that house at 25, my husband and I. And this is when I know I needed to learn everything about real estate and made 100% return on our investment. Now, here you're talking to, I was then a little girl straight out of public housing, had just finished UConn, and just learned enough to be dangerous. But when we bought that 3-family house and our mortgage was only $480, and we charged every tenant $500, and I looked at that return on my investment, I said, okay, this is going to be a game changer for me, but I'm going to tell others about it.
I love it. And I love the way you liken credit to family, because that's kind of how we understand things. I always say, treat your creditors as you'd have your debtors treat you. Remember the last time Pookie called to borrow $50 and promised to pay you back. Friday rolled around, you ain't heard from Pookie. He won't even answer the phone that your $50 helped keep on. Now you want to kill him. So you call everybody else and they say, well, we talked to him. Now you really want to kill him. And we all say, it's not the money, it's the principle. And the principle of the thing is to communicate. Had he called and said, I don't have the money, then you may have given him an extension or you may have waived the debt. But the fact that you didn't call and didn't communicate is what made the situation get inflammatory. And so I always tell people to treat your creditors as you would have your debtors treat you. If you don't want anybody dodging you, then don't dodge the creditors. But Big Mama is the ultimate of them all.
The only other point that I like to add to that, I don't loan money to family. I give them what I can afford to give them, because I'm not going to fall out with my family over a few dollars. So if they ask for $1,000 loan, which I know is not going to be paid back, and I have $500 to give them, here it is. But I'm not going to get into a financial situation with a family member because I want to keep the love flowing.
I love it. I love it. Well, I don't give anybody anything either. Everybody gets a job, okay? Because it's a tax write-off.
That's right.
Because, see, I ain't at the place where I'm giving away anything. You need a job. If you asking me for money, then you need some work. So you about to work in my home-based business. Us youngins, we got a whole nother system we working out over there, Legend. I love it. I love it. But you have such a beautiful spirit, and you've taught so many people so many things. Can you tell us, what is a future fund? Please tell us what that is.
Well, a future fund is a term I came up with. I now have 5 grandchildren. And it really came up because I was talking to my children one day, and they said when they finished school, because they had all these scholarships, they said, Mommy, Daddy, well, didn't you and Daddy have a college fund for us? We said, yeah, it was. You all were going to get A's and get a scholarship. We are going to create a future fund for our grandchildren. They said, well, what's a future fund? I said, if you look into our society, unfortunately, a lot of young Blacks have no capital who have excellent business ideas. I said, so your father and I are creating future funds for our grandchildren. They can use it for 1 of 3 purposes. They can go to trade school, they can go to college, or they can bring us a business plan and we will support it. We want to give them options. We can have the next brilliant child in our family, but if they don't have people who are willing to invest in them, sometimes we just don't have it. So my husband and I have created what we call a future fund.
I love that. I think that is brilliant, and I think it is absolutely amazing. Let me ask you this last question before you leave us today, Lori. What lesson did you teach your children about life and money matters? And I know that there are so many, and your wonderful husband, Kenny Gibbs Sr., you all have just been icons in the community. But tell us a few things, because we have young people who are trying to get to where you are. What did you teach your children about life and money matters?
Well, in life, I tell my children, never self-eliminate. Never tell yourself no.
Yeah.
You go for it. And when you succeed, you prepare, you participate, you perform with excellence. But if you tell yourself no, you're suffering from the imposter syndrome. No, you are capable of doing anything you put your mind to. We also taught our children what we knew. My husband being a CPA and me always being in finance, we made them at 16 at that time get a checking account. They had to do research and figure out who had the best student checking account for them and why. And then they were told before they went to college to figure out who had the best student credit card. Because I knew that my husband and I was going to give them X amount of dollars a month. We told them never charge more than that. And then when we put the money in their account, they are to pay the credit card. And guess what happens? They're paying on time. Now, the creditor doesn't know it's not their money.
Yeah.
It was their, and they paid it off. And the long story short, at the end of their 4 years of college, they had 775 and 800 credit scores.
Yep.
Only using tools that I knew and shared with my children early. We want to inform our children of things so that their lives can be much better than ours.
You know, Lori, I am so thankful and grateful to you, because it's the things that I learned from you that put me in a position to put those same things in place for my children. My children have higher credit scores than me. Now, everybody's in the 700s, but Sydney is like, she's almost at 800. I'm trying to catch up. I'm about at 740, 750. And that's what it is. Like, everybody in the family has credit scores over 700, and the young ones are just, they're about to bust through 800. And it's all because they started at a young age. We ensured that they had checking accounts, just like you advised. We made sure that they had a credit card that they could pay off every single month, and so on and so forth. And it's really just made their lives very different. And what I see in them, because they started at such a young age, they're not frivolous with their spending. Now, they're frivolous with my money. Kennedy, the youngest one, she want me to buy everything. I'm like, you got your own money. She don't want to buy the burgundy Timberlands for herself. She wants to wear mine and have me go buy another pair for me. So it makes them frugal. You have done so well. You've done so much. But more important than that, you have spent your life loving and giving and teaching others in a very, very simple way how to build wealth. So thank you so much for being here. You are a member of the First Ladies of Financial Freedom. You are probably our matriarch, okay?
I'll take that.
Yes,
I'll take that.
You are our matriarch. So thank you so much, Lori. I love you, soror, and can't wait to see you soon.
Thank you for having me. Keep doing the great work you're doing and sharing the wisdom with the world, and love you much.
All righty. Thanks so much.